Hello there, I'm Oliver Hill, amateur game dev, and this is Ore, a semi-realistic space combat simulator. One of the main concepts I'm working with is that it's in space, there's no atmosphere around to oppose motion. There aren't any space sims I know of that really play into this. Ships in these games accelerate and maneuver much like you'd expect a Spitfire to, discount the lack of strong gravity in any water, of course. I've tried my best to add mechanics relevant to this phenomenon, to add additional levels of mastery, whilst retaining intuitiveness for the beginner. The stabilizer mechanic limits your ship's angular velocity, allowing for fine control, but by turning it off, you remove that limit and can turn faster. This sort of mechanic allows for both fine control and drastic maneuvers to be possible, even with a non-analog control device like a keyboard, and it adds a more satisfying way to optimize turns. But enough talk of flight control, let's take more of a look at weaponry.
This is Nomad to Rate, and it's cleared to take off. Nomad to Rate, that's both transports down. Continue.
As you've just seen, the Otis's main weapons are internally mounted laser cannons. They fire slowly and are quite hard to land hits with, but you'll be sure to know when they do hit. That's where the enemy undergoes spontaneous rapid disassembly. From my experience, these sorts of weapons are the most satisfying to work with in games. Player skill determines speed of engagements, as opposed to arbitrary number crunching. The ship's targeting computer can help you track targets and improve situational awareness by showing enemies on your radar scopes for rapid acquisition. To add to variety and player choice, the Otis can also mount guided missiles to engage targets from afar. However, the more ordnance you mount, the more sluggish the Otis gets, so it's down to the player's discretion what configurations suit their game plan the best. Speaking of configurations, the Otis's power distribution can be reconfigured on the fly to optimize aspects of its performance. Although the player must bear in mind that brash configurations like full emergency power could toast the reactor if used carelessly. And whilst diverting all power to cooling could take your mind off reactor heat worries, you might end up finding concerning your depleted shields and lack of energy to shoot back at the enemy.
Nomad to Rate, that's both transports down. Keep your head on the sill. There's an enemy fighter after you.
Now, on to the missions. Starting off, the player has access to VR training missions to get them accommodated to the gameplay. To unlock field missions, they have to complete at least one of intermediate difficulty. Their performance in these scenarios will determine the call sign they're given. For instance, if you clean out all the extra targets in basic training, you get Rake. If you beat the dogfight scenario, guns only, you get Crusader. Or, you get Bounder if you fire your friendly carrier. Though I don't know why you'd be one of the lucky few to fly it. You'd better take this seriously. Hold your fire, you're not helping yourself here. This isn't a game. Have some class. For the future, I aim to add thrust vectoring animations, multiple playable ships, improved models, more art options including boosters, gun pods, bombs, and jammers, ship customizability, a somewhat dynamic campaign where achievements in earlier missions or losses sustained will affect what missions you get next and slash all their parameters. Anyway, hopefully that won't drag me into a massive feature creep. Well, I've been the only tester so far, but I'll be sending a demo around now to get some feedback which I can build on. Thanks for watching and farewell.